welcome. Welcome, audience. Thank you, Father, for the day. And, thank you to Liz Goll Lerner, our lovely guest. I'm so thrilled that she is here. Liz, this is an incredible audience. They participate, they'll ask questions, they'll engage. And it's just so exciting to be able to bring them someone like you. Goodness knows, I just pre-show, I must tell you, listeners and viewers, I had just said to Liz, my goodness, you've done so many things. What in the world? I'm going to go through these titles. And she said, let's keep it simple. Liz is besides being just a beautiful human being that I have had the pleasure of getting to know over the last year or so. She's a psychotherapist, a transformational coach. She does a lot of spiritual work with people, and she's a communication expert and beyond. Can I just say beyond? I am sitting here holding her wonderful book, Divorce Well and Thrive. And I was married before, and I have to admit, I've now been married to, my MVP, I have to tell you, for 29 years, and it's a beautiful relationship. However, there was a time that I entered back into these thoughts, and that would have been my second divorce. However, as of today, everything's beautiful. Liz, divorce is not a place that any of us expect to be.
Right.
It's not
Right.
even a place we
Not
think.
part of the dream, right?
No, it's certainly not part of the plan. So, audience, I am going to ask Liz questions, and we're just going to get her to share from the heart in her wonderful book. And of course, there will be all the links. She has incredible insight. She's a coach, an author. She loves to work with people. Please get in there and contact her. I have to tell you, Liz, one of the pages, and I'm going to tell the audience here, part one. So you think you want to get a divorce? Wow. And then you get to part two. So you're going through with it. Part three. Now you've done it. What's interesting is right here, and I have this marked because I go to it, but I'm on page 19. And what I love this is that you give questions that we should all ponder when we get into this place that we think this has even entered our minds. Where did you come up with the questions? Tell us you know, what was the catalyst to you writing this book? Was it your own experience?
Yes, definitely. It was definitely I'm going to page 19 to see which questions you're talking about. But
Yes.
got it. Okay. So, those are like three different questions. So I'll start with why I wrote the book. I wrote the book for a few reasons. And I'm kind of gonna go backwards. So I wrote the book for the children,
Mm,
for the experience that they could or should not have if their parents are having trouble and really having a lot of discord and fighting, um, because it's not just about the parents. It's
mm,
about if there are children involved,
right.
and there aren't always, but if there are, then that was one piece. The other piece was, in my experience, having been a psychotherapist for decades before I got divorced, and having a child, and thinking about what I really wanted. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
the collective unconscious, the word out for all of us about divorce is that it is a horror show.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't going to participate in a horror show for me or my kid. And I thought, okay, well, we can choose our experience. So let's choose what this is going to be about.
Right.
So we did some work with some therapists and we did a whole bunch of things. But once we got to the place of the decision and going through with it, we chose as a family to
Mhm.
have a separation party.
Oh, wow.
And that party was not about one of us going, oh, yay, that other person's gone, you know, which a lot of those parties are about.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Like, woohoo. It was about transforming our family and strategically. Now, there's a chapter in the book that says strategy is not a dirty word, right?
Right.
We spend our lives doing strategic things. How we get ourselves out of the house and to go to work or to go to a class or to have a meal are all strategic, right? They can be very health giving.
Yes.
So I wanted to be very clear because of all of these messages about divorce and people's experiences with divorce. I wanted to be very clear about what message we were communicating to our community, so that my son wasn't asked inappropriate questions, so that other parents knew that they could call either parent if they happened to be with my child and he got hurt in a baseball game,
Right.
that we could be invited to the same parties still because we wanted to choose to do that. So that nobody was telling stories out of school about us just because of their ideas about what divorce would be or should be or always is, which it isn't, by the way. So,
Right.
right? So the invitation alone gave everybody the message. It was Liz and Howard have decided to untie the knot. Please join us for our separation party for the transformation of our family and join us for the journey ahead. Basically, I didn't get it quite right, but that's basically the sentiment. And what happened, and this is really why I wrote the book, is that I got first people thought it was a joke. Then, but that just goes to show like how out of the box thinking that is. And also we didn't share our dirty laundry a whole lot, so it,
Right.
it made sense. But then I got an onslaught of calls of people who one could not believe or understand that this was possible. Two, had been traumatized so badly by either their parents' divorce, their grandparents' divorce, their own divorce, that there was no choice but to write the book, right?
Interesting.
There just
Yes.
wasn't a choice.
Especially for someone in your profession.
Right. And actually, I had child and adolescent therapists saying to me, could you please start a center?
Oh, wow.
Could you please do something, write a book? I had already decided to write the book before that, but it just showed how much need there was for people's thinking to be broadened on this subject and to not only operate out of hurt, right? So I was operating out of vision. I had a vision, and that's what I'm trying to, or what I am teaching in the book is that, and in my courses, is that if you have a vision, you can make it happen because that's going to be if you're on a bus or a train and you're holding on to the pole and the bus lurches, you're holding on to the pole so you don't fall down, right?
Right.
Well,
Right.
that's what this is. That's what your vision is that pole because it will guide your behavior if you're dedicated to it every step of the way, and it will be a much different experience.
You know, let me throw something out here because one of the positive feelings, questions, facts that I have received from this information is that you allow a guide, if you will, people that think they want a divorce to go through questions to actually figure out if that's really what they want to do.
Right.
Because I think so often, and I am one of these people that, and so I can only speak from my own experience. And that
Right.
is, I really think I was trying to get away from myself,
Mhm.
who I was at that time.
Yeah.
And there's so much justification that goes on, and it's easier to see, if you will, get the plank out of my own eyes rather than
Sure,
be.
somebody else, it's somebody else, right?
And and I appreciate that because certainly none of us, the dream, the hope, like we said at the beginning, is to stay married and to have this wonderful family.
Right,
And things
right.
happen, and many people do stay married, and
Yeah,
they're stronger because of it. What
yeah.
I love about this is you're saying, think before you act.
Mhm,
Really consider if you were in your partner, your spouse's position.
mhm, mhm.
Let's look at this not just from one side, if you will.
Yeah.
I s-
So, and
appreciate
that
that.
relates to the questions, right, that you wanted,
Yes,
how they showed up.
yes,
So, some of these questions, and so I'm gonna read a couple of them so people understand kind of what
please,
we're talking about.
please.
So, what would it mean to truly be in my spouse or partner's corner? What would it mean to have my spouse or partner be in my corner? What does it mean to me to support someone in their hopes and dreams without giving up my own or self sacrificing to an unhealthy degree? So it
Mhm.
goes on like that, right? How did we get here? Do I have hope? Do I have energy to direct the conversation? And people
Yeah,
don't know how to have the conversation. So that's another part of the book of like, how do you actually talk about this stuff with a partner? But I think you're right. I think that people, there are a lot of different things that happen. And sometimes it's that people have to learn from their own growth. Um, as you said, uh, it's easier to blame somebody else. But frankly, it takes two to tango. So
that's right.
so it's not about one person. It's always going to be about both people. And that doesn't mean that people should stay in a toxic relationship because they think they should be growing and work it out, but it does mean to explore what the problems are in a, if possible, neutral setting or in a calm conversation, because most of the time the issues are communication.
Yes, yes.
Really comes down to that. And then hurt, and then letting it fester because there isn't communication, et cetera, et cetera.
And
Right.
then this hardening of the heart,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
You know,
it's quite interesting. And I think that again, audience, I cannot recommend this book enough. Not necessarily if you are
right.
considering anywhere near, you might not even be in a relationship at
Yeah.
this moment. I believe that this book that Liz has shared with the world is a wonderful book to read prior to having this lifelong committed relationship.
I so agree. I was just having this conversation with someone who's getting married. And I said, this book, of course, you don't want to see the word divorce when you're
Right.
thinking of getting married. But someone who endorsed the book in the book, it's in the book now, said this book should be called Live Well and Thrive because it's not just about divorce. It's about how we talk to each other. It's about how to put yourself and somebody else in the proper place so that you can serve yourself and be a really wonderful partner. It's about um, how communication goes wrong and how to make it right. Like how to act, like there are examples in the book of, a scenario of, did you see this part? I don't know. It's like people going on an outing. Did you read that? People going on an outing and they have a big fight about parking, right?
Oh,
Right?
it's my number one fight to this day.
Parking, etc. And then so I give what goes wrong, and then I give you guys what goes right. How to actually not have that fight at all, right? Because that's the key. the key is how are you showing up? How do you
That's right.
want how do you want to show up? What is
That's right.
your goal for your day, your
Ah,
moment,
we
your, you know,
this is a preparation. I love that whomever shared that with you told you to rename it because again, audience, I cannot recommend you're going to think about things that you've never thought about.
oh,
And you're
that's lovely.
also, no, Liz, I mean it. It's just, you're a communication expert, and that comes across in here so beautifully. You're allowing to giving tools to all of us.
Yeah.
There are questions. I mean, how many people just wake up and take on the day
Mhm.
rather than waking up? Let's just breathe. Take a moment. Thank you, Father. What are the only things I need to get go? And
Mm.
that's just in this conversation or
How
not
many of us just pick up our phones?
with
There's
Wordle.
pick
Trust
up,
me.
there's the phone, right?
Wake up, Wordle, calendar.
Right.
I mean, really and truly, I have to train myself because I really do want to get to Wordle. It's ridiculous. But and if I go there, then I'm moving into the part of the day we need to converse with ourselves first before we can communicate with someone else.
Will land, kind of like,
Oh,
and,
oh,
that's another piece that I think you're bringing up that's so important because we have to be actually like, when I say this to people, I go, "What are you even talking about?" I was just working with a C-suite coaching client, and I said, "Well, you really need to be in your body." And he's looking at himself and he goes, "What do you mean I need to be? I'm in my body. I'm always in my body. You know." And I said, "Yeah, well, if we're on Wordle or if we're thinking about the next thing, we're not actually present. We're not actually here. We're not actually feeling the weight of our body, supported by the floor.
oh,
To me, the body is the doorway to everything because that's the vehicle we've got, right? We're here in a body somehow, and we're walking around and it's helping us. But if we're not in connection with it, we're not reading the room.
oh,
Right? We're not reading ourselves, we're not reading the room. So in the book is my quantum presence technique to help get people actually in and go
round.
from there. Um,
Mhm.
and I do offer little group classes in that as well for people who just want to know more deeply how to do that. But it's all here in the book. And if people just practice, they will find themselves because I have tons of clients who are like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this really works. It's so simple."
Right.
And my life, after doing it for, several months, my life is different.
It's really and truly, you bring something up, and I know we don't have much more time. But something you brought up that, again, very selfishly, I'm bringing up my own experience.
That's what
However,
it's all
I
about.
did not know how not in the present moment I was for a long time. And let's just a very simple example, the parking lot argument that you don't even need to have. It goes from there, and that ridiculous conversation argument leads
Oh
to
my
something else. It's not over. You wake up the next day to your point, and you've got that you've carried forward, and you haven't even checked in, and you don't even realize it.
Right. So that when you have the next conversation with that person,
Yes,
you're actually having the previous conversation,
100%.
right? Not even like clear enough to go, okay, wait a minute, we were upset. Do I want this today? Is it
Right.
something we should be talking about? How do we clear the air or
Yeah.
what? Like whatever it is for that person. But so much we do that. We are
Oh,
kind of just it's a continuation
that's right.
and
It's
it
this
gets us into
crazy cycle.
trouble.
It's
Yeah.
this cycle that someone, two
Yeah.
to tango and all, but someone has to be willing to break the cycle.
And that's the key.
And that is the key.
That's the key, Carol. That's the key to the whole book.
I'm covered in chills because, and that was the key to where I was in my first marriage.
Yep.
And because it's very easy, we can justify things all day long and everybody agree with us. You know what I mean? But the real root of the situation is, sure, justify all day long. That's just a whole different conversation. However, it's who is willing to go ahead and break the cycle, because it's such a beautiful thing to do.
Do we have like 30
You better
seconds?
believe it. Come on. Yeah.
So one of the examples, the reason I talk about this in the book is because I tried this whole method out on myself first, right? So argument about the dishwasher, right? Every day, right? Argument about the dishwasher. My son is sitting at the table. Husband is at the dishwasher making some kind of complaint. The cycle starts. I see my child tense up, like, uh-oh, right? And I think, okay, what's my vision? What's my pull? My vision is that this child will not suffer. I will not keep fighting. And all of a sudden, I just made the decision to just be quiet, to
Yes.
just acknowledge, oh, I hear what you said, and move on.
Ah,
And I cannot tell, like, we all get so stuck in winning and,
ah,
having the last word, and I cannot tell you how freeing that was and how it all went away.
ah.
It went away. There was no fight. There was no nothing. There was no nothing. And that
And your
was the
vision
moment
was able to
to
come.
help me
Ah,
do it. And that was the moment that I knew that this worked.
yeah. Yeah.
Because there was no reason for there not to be a fight. Like, it was something that happened
Ah,
all the time, right? So, it was like,
ah,
"Okay, this is
ah.
real."
It is real. And as someone has asked me before, and jokingly, I didn't answer it properly, but you know, do we want to be happy or do we want to be right?
Well,
And it's a
maybe
real,
both. But
I'm like, oh God. Okay, but
but
and the thing, and really and truly, do we want to learn? Do we want to grow? Even when we're not,
how about just no harm? How
oh
about
my
no harm?
gosh, no harm, no foul.
Do no harm, be true to yourself,
Ah,
or,
ah.
have the courage to make those decisions.
And by doing so,
Period.
Liz, I guess it is kind of preachy on my part, but I so often share with people, when we take care of ourselves, that's a gift to others.
Yeah.
When we take care of others, it's such a gift to ourselves. I kind of love the way God works that way. You're doing something nice, but really it's a gift to yourself. Anyway, I
Yeah.
love that so much. But the what here, I want to thank you for this wonderful book, and just for what your mission is, for the programs you offer, for the people that you help. You make a positive change, a positive impact through your work and who you are. And I just so appreciate it. I so appreciate it.
So much, Carolyn. You too. I mean, you're just a light in the world. So
Oh, oh goodness. Well, by the
yeah,
grace of God, if I say or do anything that's a light, I know it's him working through me. So thank goodness. But I cannot wait to see you again. Audience, please go to Liz's website, check in. She has programs starting. She coaches, she does all the things, if you will. And if you have questions, send me comments,
I'm
questions.
happy to answer. Happy to jump on a call. Really, people can just reach out if they wish.
Of course she will. And y'all, she means it. That's what I love about Liz. So we'll have another conversation. We'll follow up. Have a beautiful day. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, audience. Cook 'em.